Hello. Welcome to Nifty Alpha Trader. This is Ray, and you're watching Nifty Alpha Trader. So now we are going to just begin on how weekly market trends goes and predicting those. So let's get started. So before we get started, I like to say there is a strict disclaimer that I am not a professionally trained stock exchange broker or SEBI registered trader. So these are basically my studies and this is vlog which I am doing for myself. So please do trade and do stock investments at your own risk. Yeah, let's get started now. So before getting started, I have huge losses in MTM, in futures market, in Vedanta, and also have few other trades which I'm doing right now. But I'm mostly into options, not in futures. But one big futures, I've lost 1 lakh over that one lot. But I'm not aggressive into futures. But let's talk about all these sectors which are really doing good and might be doing good in next 1 week, or I'm basically bullish most of the time. I'm not bearish. So these are few picks which I do. So what I basically do is I filter with uh, I'll go through reports and trend lines and also figure out how the markets are doing right now. So let's go through what all reports are coming up, and I don't pick individual stocks actually. I go with a sector and then pick a stock related to that sector. So here, if you're seeing, there's Mindtree software as service. There is some kind of updates which are happening in the sector level. This is Mindtree's more software level. So what I can also do, I don't have sectors here, but we can just see this. So this is a sectorial report from HDFC Securities. There is Mindtree again mentioned, and there is utility sector which is again mentioned. So usually the reports comes once in a month or once in years, and they'll basically give you a buy and sell call. So they are again giving NTPC as a buy call in utilities, and also they're giving NHPC as a buy call. So these are all recommendations which we should not be looking aggressively on, but we should be reading on why they are picking those. So HDFC Securities, I'm seeing a lot of reports from them now. But apart from that, if you're seeing the recent reports and what are the upsides, the most upside was given to Mindtree and Spandana. But let's filter out only those which are in futures and options market. So that is where I have one of my things, which is this one. So the Reliance has, so the latest reports for last 1 week. Let's see all. Let's not go through all these reports. So from 6th to 15th, what are all the sectors which the players think are really going to do well, and see what are they suggesting. So for example, Crampton and Dreams is basically, I guess it's a fan company based on maintaining. So Crampton and Greece is basically a consumer durable. So one of the sector is consumer durable. Let's only go through sectors right now. I'm closing this. One is consumer durable, whether the sector will be doing good or not. And then what we are going to pick and next is TCS. Again, TCS report, if you're seeing, there are a lot of reports by multiple people that ICICI, Axis, and IDBI, everyone, and even HCL Tech again in the list. Now Mahindra and Mahindra, again, it's not in the list, but all you are seeing that software is back on track. So the point is, every report here is mentioning one is IT, and second is Mahindra is mentioned here, as well as Tata Motors is mentioned here. So auto sector is what is we are leaning towards. And also if you're seeing again, I'll go from uh, this sector. Mhm. Reliance is in multiple sectors, so it's hard to pick a sector, but I'll pick oil and gas. Basically, ONGC and everything will come into this sector. So oil and gas, consumer durables are two sectors. Then the next would be IT sector also, which is Mindtree. Basically, is software and service, and so three sectors which we have picked are these three, and HDL Tech. Coromandel Investment is into banking and NBFCs. Yeah, banking and finance is one more sector which we are looking at, and Crompton and Greece consumer durable, which is already mentioned, and Lawrence and Tubro. We can take this, but the entire point about having this sector of cement and construction is this is a unique company which is basically infra as well as cement. So yeah, let's keep this sector, but let's refine these further. But how much is Lawrence and Tribro given is a good points here. But why is that given? We have to do a detailed study on that. That is when we will know everything in detail. So the next sector, apart from these, all these three things are again Mahindra and Mahindra, which is automobile. Okay, and any other thing? Yeah, GNFC, but that was given. And also here we have GAIL, which is also oil and gas or utilities sector. I didn't know GAIL was into utilities, but let's see what GAIL does, because if I don't know what GAIL does, and investing it in directly in it might be a huge risk. So let's find out what it does in general. So GAIL has gas marketing and gas transmission, HP, petrochemical, natural gas marketing, natural gas, city gas. Yeah, everything related to gas most probably, and I don't. It comes under utilities, but I guess in direct distribution and other things. But I know about other things, but not exactly. So what is GAIL? GAIL is a government company process distributes the natural gas, so it's not directly there. The revenue has grown. This is good figure. GAIL is 10 rupees dividends, 10 rupees dividends, and the stock is at 140 right now. That means almost 10% is almost 7% is the yield of the thing if you are seeing it financial 2022. That is good basically if we are investing for long term, but the valuation, GAIL shall invest in renewable portfolio by this is a good thing and invest. So we have to go study in deep, but ultimately it's a gas and oil and gas, and it is dependent on oil and gas because they're procuring from there, and they're getting a margin out of in between. And right now oil is basically it has the price has crashed. So I guess we have to find a support in oil first, crude oil, and then if crude oil has reached its support, and then if we see any up move in that, then that is when we can again go into GAIL. So these are all the variables of crude oil. So if you're seeing Reliance, and Reliance has a little impact on oil prices because they have diversified, but if you are seeing other companies will be a proxy of oil, and whichever performs, uh, so the prices hugely are derivatives of the crude oil prices. So that's one thing. And recently if you're seeing consumer durables, let's say fast moving consumer goods, FMCG is different from consumer goods. Consumer goods has also been a cyclical thing. Always consumer durables is is somewhat cyclical. So if we are seeing, let's say, consumer durables is here, okay, let me search for Honeywell, for example. Then if we go to not Honeywell, then what is the other one? Voltas. Mm, yeah, I guess they are not adding the sectorial things here now. Okay, let's see consumer goods how they are doing. The change over market depth over year on year. Year on year changes were where it is in between, but daily changes are turning positive, more towards positive. Quarterly change is negative. I mean, entire sector, and these are the goods which consumer durables which are picking up today. And let's go down and filter these sectors by basically not valuation, but I usually do it only with future. Let's see FII holdings and how the quarterly changes have been in the FII holdings. So if you're seeing this Voltas, where there was a move with Voltas here, so they have been acquiring this, and this seems interesting. Let's see, because it has been in a price dip since a long time, and now the quarterly has a lot of FII holding changes quarterly. So we will do a research on this company, so I'll add this to my list. Default watch list, and also Voltas to my default watch list. So these are the two things. Then what, because FIs might do some research is what I'm thinking, but this also can be a company which a Binami or someone who's a proxy founder owning company in some tax haven might be funding as an FII. So always have to be careful and on exactly who is procuring or buying these stocks. So that's what we have to do a due diligence on, and then we have to do in-depth research on why they are going to buy that and what is the good point which they have noticed in that stock. So this is, yeah, but this is already in a good price. The valuation is already in the tops. So the prices of this is also in the top, so we are not going to look at that, but just add it to the list. Now I'm closing these ones. That's consumer durable goods. I think might do well because of the metal prices, and the prices are falling down. This segment can do well, but there is a inflationary fear in among everyone. So I think this can impact, but since the prices might get cheaper, and these companies will make much better profits than other companies, but overall it will have an impact. Just the raw materials are what they are saving on. Now coming to oil and gas, let's see crude oil prices, and then we can decide based on that. So crude oil has crashed a lot, but suddenly few days back it has gained again. So crude oil futures, let's see, not in INR but in. So if you're seeing crude oil prices in general, crude oil prices have increased rapidly, and they are in 2014 prices, and they have to be falling because the demand and supply has to be matched now. So it's not just about like Saudi supplying oil or Arab supplying oil. India is buying most of the oil from Russia. So that's where we have to seriously think about and consider other things also. So right now, uh the price, crude oil price is at 95, and it is taking support at 200 EMA. So this is a good figure which we have to note, that 200 EMA is where it has regularly stopped and then it has picked up. So I think it is in a proper support zone, but only when there is a huge crisis like 2018, that to 2020 March, that is when it fell, and 2008 will be another scenario, might be 2016. Yeah, there is huge falls, but this usually in a normal recession period, it has broken here, it has broken even in 2018, 2008, where is 2008? I guess 2008 figures are not here, but yeah, yeah. I'll go to weekly and then check. Yeah, if you're seeing 2008 also, it has broken, and that might be the same scenario even now, but we have to be extremely cautious about this breaking. So if 200 EMA is broken, the recession fears are real, and we have to be extremely cautious and not invest hugely on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an alert here, and if it breaks, it has to inform me, and this will be uh, on hourly basis, not on not on daily basis. I'll change it later, but I'm just adding this alert. So when it breaks, I am going to exit all the stocks, because crude oil prices impact, and it is a real proof of recession for me right now. And so oil and gas are at support right now. That's where I'm closing this, and now coming to software and services. Softwares and services, even here I'll go FII holdings, and the changes of FII holdings here. And again, if you're seeing Britron Group is basically supplies some software for televisions, I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but the valuations are good and they are buying it. Hyderabad. So they have in various places, and they do for ads, and also they have so many other customers. So this is a good figure, but are they at a right price or P to PB to price? Let's see where they are priced at. Right now the PB ratios are at extremely good prices, because these were not the prices before 2020 crash. The price was at 2 rupees, and now the price is at 40. So if you are seeing that in last 1 year, the prices have gone up crazy. So it is 2 times of the original price, and the valuation is also fine. But again, we have to notice that since 2000 annual returns, let's see annual returns, since 2013 till present date, the value of this company has remained the same. They are not making any huge revenue on that, so I don't think it makes sense. But another companies like Coforge, which is a forging company, I don't know why it is here in this list, but let's see the financials again. PB down 5 years data. They are not at 2020 prices yet. I am predicting they have to be somewhere here, but PB ratio, if you are seeing here, the PB has always for the last 5 years, the PB ratio were always aligned here, and then again the prices, the PB ratio is below this. So what happens here is we can have a particular set where we can store that 5 PB is a actual measure of buying, because everyone has bought it there. So if you're seeing even the past, it has always had like 3 to 5 PB ratios. Now it is trying to match and it's coming close, so we can buy it again when it is at that ranges, but this price is also high. So right now I don't think even software has a good scope and it's not undervalued. And I don't want it to be undervalued. I want it to be at a fair value. So I don't think most of them are at fair value. So even if you see Tata Elxsi, their revenue is good, but I don't really trust, and their valuation is skyrocketed. So I don't want to enter into that. Again, the stocks which were mentioned here is again TCS and what else was mentioned here? TCS, not Infotech. So yeah, and HCL. Yeah, HCL. I think is it a good valuation, but I'm not 100% sure about that, because I wanted to always buy it at 900, but now I think it might come back to its original prices, which was at 600. I think that levels can be touched, but 700 and with this, there was a support here in between, that is 820. I think that price can be touched, and based on the support we can again enter into this. But ultimately HCL Tech is doing a lot of things compared to a tech company, but yeah, we have to go in detail of this. But yeah, there are some tech companies which are undervalued, like HCL Tech. I think the valuation should be somewhere around, if you are seeing the PBs alone. So since the last 5 years, so the PB ratio was being maintained here. If you're seeing at 3.8 levels, and around, if you're seeing 4 to 3, it was between that, and it was always available at 3.3. So right now the valuation is at a right place, that is, if you're seeing at 4. So this was fine PV, but ultimately we might valuing it at a higher price. So once the value is at 3 or lesser than 3, then we can again go with that. So HCL Tech is right now, I guess, it is in a good position. So we can start holding it back, but let's see what's going on there. Yeah, HCL Tech is good recommendation. What I think, why they are recommending it is what we have to check now. HCL Tech offers IT R&D, ER&D and product health. Here's evaluation. Okay. PR show, and the conference is, it reported to 3.6 quarter on quarter and dollar revenue. And also basically, if the rupee is decreasing and the dollar is increasing, that means the revenue of these companies have to basically go with the dollar index. So let's say what was the price of HCL Tech before and now. So the dollar price has changed, so which ultimately impacts even this one. So I think we have to also consider that, and indirectly this revenues will, again in terms of rupees, will grow, but because of the inflation, I guess we have to first check that. So if you're seeing INR to USD, so rupee has been standardly decreasing. It has, we'll see it the other way around. USD, just USD. So if you are going with last 1 year data from 75 to 79, so let's see this in here. So what kind of decline is that, or what kind of growth was that? So since last January 10th, since the start of this year, let's say, it has grown from, so 7% was the difference. So we have to consider this as a pricing which will be added to these companies and the contracts if they are good. ultimately these will be doing really well. That is what I am thinking. So HCL Tech is a good buy according to me, and I'll try to accumulate HCL Tech. This is one good company which might be undervalued right now. So I'll do more research on this, but yeah, it looks pretty much good to me. And let's go to Mindtree now and see what Mindtree is doing now. So Mindtree, I don't know exactly what Mindtree does and how they make software, but ultimately let's go through the technical data and see how they are doing there. I got some notification. Amazing. I guess everyone can hear me. Yeah. So now when we see the PB ratios of last 5 years, it has always remained before this, it has always remained at 5 PB ratio. Now it is almost at 8. So I would expect it to come and touch to almost 5 to 5, similar to that, or 3 most probably, and then I can buy this. But HCL Tech will always be hedged, and we'll buy shares by hedging and pledging few of the shares. So I think we can basically uh, be more bullish on HCL Tech than the other ones. And TCS, I'm not 100% sure because it's already big and huge. I don't know how bigger it might get, but let's see. Based on the valuations, always this I think this is overvalued a lot. So yeah, the valuations are terrible according to this one, and the PB ratios, if you're seeing it, are at what somewhat at a historical high levels. If you are seeing 5 years, so it was always at 9 PB ratios, which was, even then it was at high valuation because they were doing fundamentally, the Indian software story was always proxy to what TCS was doing and Infosys was doing. So if you're seeing now the valuations are at 12 PB ratios. That is really high. I mean, if you're seeing all-time ratios, the PB ratios, if you see here, it was always at somewhere 8, or if you're seeing here, it's always at 8, and this has to be decreasing, but still it is increasing because of the growth story. And last year, what happened was really they got a lot of good contracts, and it proved an Indian IT story. So I think basically it might be doing well in the long run, but in the short run, I don't think TCS might win a lot of contracts and can get into this price. So I'll be waiting for a long time until it gets back to this price, because see, if you're seeing this graph from 2014 after the raise and till 2017, it didn't give any kind of good returns, and it was always the same. The same point also might apply even for HCL Tech, but I think the PB ratios are pretty decent there than TCS, and they also are into SaaS and also other softwares which are direct products, which can be considered as one of their things. But I don't know if TCS can do anything apart from consultancy. So in this sector, the pick would be again HCL Tech, and I'll also read a lot of them, reports on them, and get into details of that later. Now let's go to banking and financial sector. What's happening and what are the trends of FIIs here? FIIs are increasing more in CMS Info Systems, Angel One, which is a brokerage service, and some company. Jeevan Small, it's finance company. Okay. So it's trading at low prices, but again, we have to consider even other things here, not just that. These are all small companies which they recommend. One is Federal Bank is fine, which was already in my list. Quest Capital is something I have to see. But if you are seeing here, we are only picking those which are at good valuation. All things are green. So Quest Capital is, I don't know whether it's a small cap or a big cap, large cap. But when I'm seeing market capitalization, it's around 240 crores. And what they do, I'll add this also to my default list. So don't want to avoid that. And uh, there is a fresh take on PB ratio. Is it undervalued? The PBs are extremely cool, but I have to check in NPS and what all this is doing. Actually, it looks cool. Okay, 10p, nice. Financial and investments. Okay, but they don't have more details here. And wow, profit margins are really cool. What they do here is, I don't have that. Sales of shares and securities, dividend income, interest income, sales of service, financials and investments, benchmarking them with Spanish. Okay. Now I have to read the reports on these guys, knowledge base. Let's see. Okay. B&K Capital Market Limited, and what they are sharing is West Bengal Medical Costs. Okay. All there's no presentation at all. Like they're not even giving investor presentation. They don't have even a website. That is something weird. Okay. They don't have a website. The parent organization is this one, which has a website. Let's see. Terrible website. They do online trading, everything, but okay, terrible. I won't invest even without a good website. I mean, their business might be good, but I am not willing to do that. Let's see what's the end of the day, and if I have any adjustments, let me do that immediately. No, not here. Not here. Not required. Not required. Nothing is required. There's only 7 minutes left, I guess. Last 7 minutes, I don't think there will be a massive fall anywhere apart from in Indus Towers. Let's see Indus Towers what it's doing. So I wanted to take position, but I just wanted till the end of the day to take a position and waiting for it. No, I'm not willing to take any bearish position on this, but I was bullish on this, but it moved extremely fast. So it didn't lose a lot of capital, but I'm not expecting to make huge money on this either. So yeah, let's wait for it to break these zones, then I can do an adjustment. Right now I think it has a more upside than downside, so I'm not going to take any aggressive decisions right now. I'm closing this. No, I don't think I'll do that. Karnataka Bank, everything is good, but right now, what were the reports on? The reports were on banking. The reports was on HDFC Bank. Yeah, everyone knows it's low, good valuation zone. Axis Bank also has a good value. Axis Bank has value because of the recent acquisition of credit cards from Citigroup. So that's where it has, but it has not shown that move. But we can basically slowly hedge it and go smoothly. Now, Coal India is also again into energy, and so far, let's see how the moves of the market were. So we can take a trade or Coal India is consolidating here, but always this was a bearish position. But this is daily trends which we are seeing, and this is bearish and this is bullish position. And the move, if you are seeing this volatile move, it was in a day. Today itself, it has taken all these moves in a rapid way. If you are seeing this, the both the put and call sellers might have lost a huge amount on adjusting these if they are adjusting. But ultimately, the point is for the next 1 week it might be at this range, but I'm thinking that it has to go up. I'll see the things later. Now, yeah, Coal India is a good opportunity in the long run only because of one thing, that coal is the only savior right now for the energy sector which we have and which we can burn in India to make a lot of electricity. There is no other sector which can make electricity like coal does. So that we can be bullish on that. But the disadvantage in, especially in India, is power consumption is power consumption is good, but the payments are terrible and the distributions are worse. So most of them are government entities, so that is where we struggle a lot again. So cement companies again at a lower valuation. Lawrence and Tribro was here. So valuations are decent. Basically, it was always given a good valuation of 2.6 from last 5 years, and now it is at a low ranges. So if you're seeing, it's almost 2 to 2.4 is always a good range for Lawrence and Tribro, and the prices are cool. I mean, it has touched basically the highs of that, and it has a long way to go, Lawrence and Trubro, because this is a huge company in India which has been doing a lot of projects. So yeah, so I think again I can bet on Lawrence and Trubro, but I am not really interested in cement sector a lot, so I'll close this right now. I'm not going to do that. And auto sector is again, it was basically the hype. All the hype was because of metal pricing in the domestic market. They have an advantage over it. And if you're seeing Tata Motor, the move of M&M, so the move came basically because of the good revenue which they were making, and the 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 valuation also is decent valuation, because I don't know about the debts, but it seems to be in a decent way. But if you're seeing dividend yields also, let's see dividend yields. Dividend yields are not so great, but again, coming to the normal PB ratio over all these years, it was in the same ranges, but this is at a high range. Again, we can't be expecting 2018 ranges again. If you're seeing all time ranges, it was always in these PB ratios, right? So so if you're seeing here, the PB ratios has always declined from 4 point. This is how a market has to be, like apart from IT, rest of the sectors should be moving in a slow downtrend PB ratios, because we are going to be India has a huge movement, but the point is valuations have to be consolidating towards one and close to one PB ratios most probably. But yeah, this is one oil and sector. So what we have concluded here is there are two great things. One is HCL Tech, which might prove, so that is going to be the bet on. And what else is the bet? We are not going to touch anything else apart from HCL Tech, is what I am clear on. So HCL Tech is going to be the next big bet for this entire sector segment. But HCL Tech technically, apart from that, does it have any kind of moves? So if you're seeing recently, it has broken the resistance zone here. So here, and let's go to the on Monday. What we are going to do is we are going to take up HCL trade, but what we will be doing is we'll also explore options of it. So the open interest of HCL Tech, and let's see how it's going to do. So if you're seeing HCL Tech, there are more put call writers at 900, and there is also historically there is also a lot of puts at 900. So basically they are treating 900 as a good zone. They are respecting this, but ultimately today there was huge call rating and put rating has declined, but it has declined by an inch. But there is the gap between these is more call rating than puts, and the puts are being created here at 800, but we should not be seeing current month because the expiry is nearby. So let's just see the next month. So again, in the next month, if you're seeing today, there are a lot of call ratings and there are a lot of put ratings at 900. So what we can do is basically form a 900 straddle if we are going bullish on it, and wait for it to consolidate at 900 zone. That is where I think interesting things are happening. So let's see how much premium we need for these and do the strategy. So 900, if we are deploying it this month, it is basically giving us a secure position till 1858, and the what is the percentage? -3%. It's giving a safety of -3%, and if you're taking August as a expiry, it is giving us a good downward protection but not an upward protection for this month. So yeah, so if we are taking this month itself, and if we are expecting it to basically give dividends, that is what I'm thinking it might happen. So there is a dividend season which they might have announced, and so the pricing is skewed towards the so this is a decent chart to see. So there is a protection with dividends included here. So take this under consideration, and we can basically trade once the dividends are given, and then we'll know the true value of this. Okay then guys, have a great day, and that's it from my side. I tried to explain what I thought would make sense, and again a disclaimer that I'm not a professional semi-registered trader or investor, so do it when you're taking trades. It's not my responsibility, the responsibility is on you. Okay, that's it for now. Bye bye.